Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to educate you about guardianship. Now in a prior video where I talked about why you should come to Florida, right? We have a great legal system, we have these amazing statutes that we're able to use, and we have great treatment. So in this video, I'm going to educate you specifically about guardianship. Now, when people think about guardianship, I know sometimes I hear people saying, well, Britney Spears. A little bit like Britney Spears, and I hate to use that because I think the court had a hold of her for about 11 years. That's sort of typically not what we're talking about, but it's the same type of process, right? And here in Florida, guardianship can include control over the person and their property. In some states, they might call it conservatorship. Some states say, okay, it's a separate filing for the person versus their property, but it's the same general idea. Now, when people think about guardianship, at least here in Florida, they think of elderly people, and I get it. I know I'm towards the end of my father's life, and he was not able to really make decisions that he was in his best interests. If we had needed to, we could have gone into court and gotten guardianship over him. So it's really traditionally been a statute that has been focused on elderly people, right? It's it's never been applied or hadn't been applied the way we use it for behavioral health cases, and we're typically talking about individuals between 25 and 45. It typically hadn't been applied to those folks. So I have to give credit to my amazingly brilliant wife, who spent a lot of years up in Massachusetts practicing guardianship law, and her creativity in deciding and helping us to figure out that for cases that didn't fit some of the other tools that we use, that Marchman may not be a good fit, or Baker Act's not a good fit, but guardianship would be the right tool to use. And so I want you to think about it as a time machine. Now, when I do a presentation to a group of lawyers and sometimes judges, I have a photograph that I bring up on my PowerPoint of the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Now, not to age myself, but I'm a child of the 80s, and that was those movies, those Back to the Future movies, I loved. But the point that I was trying to make, and I'm going to make with you, is that sometimes we need to be able to go back in time, because here in Florida, once somebody reaches 18, they're considered an adult, and that means they get to make their own decisions about how they live their life, their medical care, their mental health decisions. They can get married, they can contract, all of these things. Well, when someone is really suffering and has been for many years with a behavioral health issue, it's as if their brain has been kidnapped, right? You and I would look at it, and mom and dad are looking at it like, what on earth are they thinking, right? Well, they're not thinking. It's because their brain has been kidnapped. Okay, so we need to really turn the clock back. We need to jump back in time to when they were under 18 and couldn't make these decisions, and mom and dad as the legal guardian could. So the way to turn that clock back, the time machine, is the court. Okay, we have to go to court and get authority from a court to start making decisions that your loved ones simply can't make. I mean, they're probably in denial. They're telling you there's nothing wrong with me, I'm perfectly okay. Meanwhile, they sleep all day, they're up all night, they are potentially, using drugs, specifically marijuana, which has become a real problem here in Florida. They've got either an undiagnosed mental health issue, or it's diagnosed and they won't take their medications. Maybe they've been arrested. Maybe they've been sucked into Florida's mental health system through the Baker Act process. Maybe they've even had an overdose. They can't hold down a job. They're flunking out of college. They're not showering or bathing regularly. Their eating habits are just horrendous. They're not exercising. They can't, maintain an intimate relationship with anybody. I mean, all these sort of red flags. But the bottom line is they're just not living their life the way they should be, and they're going downhill rapidly. So somebody has to take control of this out of control situation and basically jump into the time machine and get the authority that you once had, so now you can start making decisions. One of which is to put this person into treatment that's clinically appropriate and keep them there long enough. And one of the wonderful tools that we use is guardianship. And so the guardianship is a very powerful tool. Now, in another video, I talked about Marchman Act. Sometimes we'll do a Marchman Act with a guardianship. And if you call us, we'll talk about why we prefer one over the other. In fact, I'm going to make a quick video about that in a second, because I think that's important. But you get the idea, right? Turning the clock back, becoming the legal guardian again, so you can start making decisions for your loved one. and begin the road to recovery. So I hope that answers the question about guardianship. If you have any questions or comments, post them. I read every comment that's posted. I try to respond to everybody within 24 hours. If you like this video, please, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. My tech team tell me that apparently YouTube and Google like a thumbs up, and I would appreciate it too. And if you could and you'd like to, please subscribe to the channel so you get more of this content, which I do almost every day. I want you to have the information you need, and you shouldn't have to pay me or anybody else to get it. Okay, so with that said, thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.